I'm back with another book video, and hopefully this will be one that will be very beneficial to anybody that is trying to grow in a spiritual sense, a mental sense, an emotional sense, even in a financial sense. Currently, I have 5 different books that I am going to recommend to you if you fall under any one of those categories.
I need you, yeah, I really do. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to do.
Okay.
Tell me what to do. All I know is hit them all and see what damage I could do.
Okay.
I give you the world, but there's other planets too. And I need someone to be patient with me. Someone to get money when I take it from me. They don't even need to be as famous as me. I don't think I meet them at the places I be, but...
Welcome back to my channel, y'all. And if you're new here, baby, go ahead and pull up a seat, get your tea, get that, and let's vibe out, okay? It's a little bit chaotic over here. Like I say in every single one of my videos, it's a wee bit chaotic, babes. But if you can rock with that, you're gonna be all good, because I promise you, the vibes be vibing over here. With all that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into this video in these book recommendations. So those that have been subscribed to me for a very long time, or those that know me personally, you already know my go-tos when it comes to reading, babes, okay? I am very much a mood reader. I read anything up under the sun, depending on how I'm feeling in that moment. However, my favorite genres, my favorite go-tos, of course, is dark romance and also self-help and development, okay? Now, it's giving those are like 2 different spectrums, 2 totally different sides of the spectrums. And babes, you're not wrong. But the reason why I love dark romance so much is because a lot of the times the characters in those books, we get to witness the self-development throughout their journeys from the very beginning up to the end. We get to witness them grow from traumatic situations, heal from different things that transpired to them, whether it be through a relationship, through their childhood, or whatever the case may be. And we get to witness them have a happy ending, And that's why I enjoy dark romance books. And of course, there's other things that I enjoy. But when it comes to the characters, that's what makes it so therapeutic for me and for a lot of other people that enjoy dark romance, is because of that growth and development throughout those books. Which brings me to the self-help and development. I mean, that's literally what that is, right? Character growth, spiritual growth, emotional growth, whatever category it is that you're looking for that feeds not only your mental and your spirit, but also not only your mental, but also your spirit. I love that. I love that shit. I'm gonna eat it up every time. So the books that I'm getting ready to recommend to y'all falls up under one or more of those particular categories. And I figured, since we are in January and this is the quote unquote start of the new year for most people, this would be something that you would be able to vibe with and get into, especially if you're trying to set particular goals or things that you want to accomplish throughout 2025. I feel like, this might give you a little bit of a push. The first book that I'm going to start with is a highly, highly, highly talked about book. We've seen it everywhere. We've seen it all through the bookstores. We've seen it being pushed on TikTok and BookTube, and the gurus tell you to go read it. And honestly, babes, I'm not going to be any different. The book that I'm talking about is Atomic Habits by James Clear, okay? I love this book. Now, I actually listened to this book first before I got the physical copy. I listened to it, I want to say sometime last year, when I was on my journey of trying to become more consistent in just my everyday life, trying to find ways to stay on task, to stay, within my schedules and things of that nature, because I am a person that struggles sometimes with, I have ADHD, and sometimes ADHD can be very crippling in different ways. And one of the things that I struggle with the most is consistency, due to my high highs and my low lows, due to, ADHD blindness, due to procrastination, when you have a set schedule in your head and something happens to throw off your schedule and now everything gets thrown off and it's hard for you to get back on track. I'm one of those people. So this book was actually very helpful when I listened to it. And after I finished it on Audible, I said I need the physical copy because I need to actually actually sit down and read it so I can go through and highlight and annotate and tab all the things that stuck out to me. Okay, so with James Clear, what I really liked about this book is it wasn't one of those like preachy books. It wasn't one of those things like you need to be consistent. You need to, in order to make success, you have to do A, B, and C. If you don't do this, you're set up for failure. It was not like that. The way that James broke this book down, he breaks it down into sections to help you figure out how you want to go about setting schedules, or how you want to go about setting, lists and, posting, using calendars and things of that nature. Like he doesn't, it's not one of those things where somebody tells you, oh, this is what you need to do, but they don't tell you the how. James tells you the how. He says, this is what needs to be done and this is how you do it. And I love those types of self-help books. So I'm going to read this one little quote just from the blurb, just so you can get a gist of what I'm saying. So he says, if you're having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you. The problem is your system. Bad habits repeat themselves, not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. In Atomic Habits, you'll get a plan that can take you to new heights. He reveals practical strategies that will teach you how to master the tiny behaviors that can lead to remarkable results. So I loved this book, y'all. And I feel like this is going to be a book that I read every single year. Like, I'm really going to try to get into this every single year just to give me that boost. The part that stuck out to me the most is when he says the bad habits repeat themselves, not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. That just really and truly resonated with me, because a lot of the times people will be like, oh, well, if you want the change, you'll just make the change happen. If you really want it to be this way, you'll do what needs to be done. But a lot of people don't realize that it's easier said than done. And for me personally, like I said, I have ADHD. So there's a lot of things that I want to change and that I actively try to change, and it just does not work for me. But that's because the systems that I've been using and the ways that I've been going about the changes don't work for me personally. Everybody has to do things differently due to how their personal human design is set up, right? And this book is very helpful in pinpointing that. So I really and truly think that this is this should be on your list of books to read for 2025 if you're somebody that's wanting to be more consistent in showing up as the best version of yourself. Okay, whatever that entails, this is that go-to. The next book that I have on my list is actually one of those memoir type books, one of those like self-biography type of books, if that's what I think that's the terminology. Y'all, I can't remember right now. My words is, what are words? Either way it goes, the book that I'm talking about is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. Now, I actually read this book back in 2023, and it has legitimately stuck with me ever since, okay? Now, this is about Glennon Doyle and her story, but what I loved about this book was it was a story about finding yourself again. In society, a lot of the times we wear so many different hats, whether male or female, and because we wear so many different hats, we lose ourselves, or because we get so caught up in a particular role, like motherhood, parenthood, spouse, if you're married, or if you're in a relationship, you get lost within your partner. When you're at work, it's just all about work. We get so lost in one particular title that we forget who we are at our core, right? And I love this book because it literally helps you, not necessarily, because it's not like a self-help book, but it showcases somebody else's life in a way that you can resonate with the things that she's talking about. So again, I'm going to give you another quote just from the blurb. And in big bold letters, it says, this is how you find yourself. There's a voice of longing inside each of us. We strive to be mightily good partners, daughters, mothers, employees, and friends. We hope all this striving will make us feel alive. Instead, it leaves us feeling weary, stuck, overwhelmed, and underwhelmed. We look at our lives and we wonder, wasn't it all supposed to be more beautiful than this? We quickly silence that question, telling ourselves to be grateful and hiding our discomfort even from ourselves. When I tell y'all, like, this book was so eye-opening. And again, like I said, this is really about her life and how she found herself again. Like, once upon a time, she knew who she was. She ended up getting married. She ended up having kids. You know, just the story of everybody's lives. We start getting in these different roles, and we quite literally lose our identity or lose ourselves. And throughout the journey of her story, it's her going back to the drawing board and figuring out what actually makes me happy. What do I actually like? Who do I really want to be? Is this, you know, this life, is this the life that I actually saw for myself, or is there more, you know? And I really, really, truly enjoyed this book. Now, granted, I'm not gonna hold you, and I could very well be wrong. Glennon does kind of give ADHD a little bit, just the way that the flow of the book was going. It was kind of like she was rambling, but I was able to digest what it was that she was putting down. And I literally think about this book, if not every day, whenever I'm just randomly, this book will pop into my head. I really enjoyed this. It's just a very eye-opening book. I feel like anybody can read it, but especially if you're a woman, because we wear so many different hats, especially if you're a woman, I feel like if you're trying to find yourself, or if you feel like you're just going through the motions of everyday life, or if you feel like you're just wanting to get back to who you were at your core at the beginning before you started putting all these different hats on, this would definitely be a good book to get into for 2025. The next book that I'm going to show y'all, now, I'm not going to lie, I don't know how a lot of people are going to feel about it, and that's fine. I really want y'all to look at things a lot deeper than just what you were taught, right? Don't allow different things to kind of run you off just based off of that initial reaction of what you would do or how you would feel, right? But the book that I'm getting ready to show y'all is by Lisa Lester, I think is how you pronounce her name, and it's called Witch. I know, it's called Witch, and normally when people hear that word witch, they go running to the hills, or they think witchcraft, or they think demonic spirits and demons and all of the things that just comes with that, the word, right? It's not given that, y'all, right? If we think back in time, if you do your research and you think back in time, a lot of the times women were deemed witches just because they were able to do things that people looked at as demonic. If we go back in time, a lot of people didn't like women. Let's just keep it a buck. Women were the bottom of the totem pole, and if you really want to get into it, quite literally still the bottom, unfortunately, in the world that we live in. They really want to make women feel as if the only thing that they're here for is creating babies. Another conversation for another day. Either way it goes, this literally takes this word and turns it into a powerful meaning by giving you the history of where the word and the terminology even came from and why it started to be depicted in a negative way, the way that it is. I love this book. I can't even remember when I read this book, but I definitely want to reread it. I feel like I read this back in like 2017, 18, possibly even 16, I don't know, but this has been on my shelf ever since, and I love this book so much. With that word, it just brings up so much negative energy behind it, because like I said, women were being tortured for just healing people, just simple medicine, you know, using herbs to heal people. You were deemed a witch, you know what I mean? Like, if you were comfortable within your sexuality, you were deemed a witch. Like any and all things that women were doing that went against patriarchy. A witch is a woman in her power. She's wise, a healer, someone who is aligned with the cycles of Mother Nature in the phases of the moon. Yet for so long, the word witch has had negative connotations, being used as an insult, a slur, and to perpetrate fear. This book will help women to remember, reconnect, and reclaim the word witch in its power. It provides an overview of many different versions of what people consider witchcraft and their core principles and practices. I really enjoyed this book because I actually have, I think, 3 books by Lisa on my shelf. This is one of them. And the thing I like about Lisa is she writes a lot of books for women's wellness, whether it be their mental, whether it be their intuition, whether it be their physical, it doesn't matter. It's literally books to help women remember who they are and take better care of themselves and step into their power the way that they were meant to be in before the throne got taken from them. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, if you're somebody that's really into like spirituality, and even if you're not somebody that's into spirituality, but you're into the uprise of women stepping back in the positions that they're supposed to be in, I would definitely recommend this book, okay? Keep an open mind, y'all. I know how some people look at it, but that was the whole purpose of the book, to take back the negative connotation that came with this word that was meant to be a slur, to make women feel as if they were demonic or less than, because that's not what women are. Women are so much bigger and more powerful than that, okay? So again, give it a go. If you like it, cool, let me know. Double back, put it down in the comments. If you don't, that's fine too. Everything is not everybody's cup of tea, but I could not move on without talking about this book, because it was very, very beneficial for me personally and a couple of other women that I've recommended it to. The next book that I have here is actually going to be geared towards financial growth, okay? So I read this book in 2023, actually. It's called You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero, I believe is how you pronounce her name. I loved this book, okay? I loved this book. I loved this book. I loved it so much, I started recommending it to some of my clients when I was doing their reading. This book quite literally changed my outlook on how... It changed my outlook on my financial situation. It changed my outlook on money as a whole. The way that I view money, the way that the relationship that I have with money. It makes you take a step back and like dig deep within to see where the mindset of lack even came from as far as your finances are concerned. Now, I'm not gonna lie, anybody that has a survival mindset, anybody that, you know, isn't in the position to like do what they want to do in a financial sense, there are going to be some parts in this book that you're kind of going to be like, man, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Like, you rolling your eyes like, what the fuck ever. I get it, okay? But that just goes to show exactly what she's talking about in this book. A lot of times you do have to just take the shot. A lot of the times you do have to go into different situations and not really knowing what the outcome is going to be. A lot of the time, sometimes you got to spend money to make money. That is really what it is. But at the end of the day, this book is not only about that. This book is solely about deconstructing the way that you view your finances and the way that you view money, and changing your mindset, right? And it does take practice, okay? It took me a long time to get to where I am now mentally in terms of finances, okay? And I'm still not there 100%, but I'm a lot better than I was when I initially read this in 2023. So I do highly suggest reading this if you're a person that if you're a person that's interested in trying to change your financial situation, or at least trying to change your outlook on the way that you view money. This would definitely be a good book for you to read. It's very easy to read. It's fast paced, and the way that she breaks things down for your understanding, I love that as well. At the end of the day, money is just energy. Everything in the world is energy, right? And energy has to flow, but energy will only flow if you are in the space to receive. The type of energy that you receive, of course, is the vibration that you're functioning on, right? So if you have a lack mindset, you can expect lack, right? But if you have a mindset of abundance, you can expect abundance in so many different ways. And I know that's just such a cliche thing to say, but I'm living proof of that. Somebody that came from survival, okay? I've been homeless. I've been living paycheck to paycheck. I've went without eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've lived the life that I'm, referring to while I'm talking about this book. And the person that I am now, of course, I still have my struggles. Sometimes I do revert back to survival mode because that's just how I am. I'm a dog out here for real, like I'm a hustler. So I understand the struggle it takes to kind of shift your mindset when it comes to finances. But I do highly recommend this book because this book did help me get to where I am now. Okay, y'all, the last book that I have here, it is not like a self-help book per se, but it does help you look at life differently in the way that you go through life differently, okay? And I've talked about this book so much on my channel so far, ever since reading this book, but I'm going to talk about it again because this book really is that life-changing. The book that I'm referring to, of course, is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Granted, this is a fiction book, okay? This is very much fiction. It is like sci-fi, suspense, and like romance all mashed up in one, but that does not take away from the message at hand when it comes to this book, okay? So I'm not going to tell you the storyline. I've told y'all the synopsis many a times. This time around, I'm just solely going to focus on how I view this as a life-changing book, okay? So within this storyline, it makes you look at your life in a sense of gratitude, okay? A lot of the times we wake up and we wonder, like, you know, what if I went this route? What if I did this differently? What if I did that? Sometimes we wake up and we have regrets about things that we either did or didn't do, right? We think about all the things that happened to us in a different path that we could have taken, a different person that we could have been with, what life would have been if we took this particular route. This book makes you look at things so much differently, because at the end of the day, even if you did go that route, you have no idea what would have came with that, right? You may would have had what you wanted, but you don't know the life that comes with having what you wanted. You understand what I'm saying? There's so many things that we don't think about when we're thinking about the person that we wish we could have been, or the path that we wish we would have taken. You know what I mean? So this book literally allows you to kind of sit within your current reality and be more grateful for where you are right now, right? Versus what you think where you think you should have been, or what you think you should have had, or whatever the case may be. And that's not to say that the things that you want in life is not possible, that you can't have them, because more than likely for a lot of people, what's promised to you is already yours. But due to the decisions and things that you made, you have to go about getting there in a different way, right? The route to the end game is just different. It doesn't mean that the end game has changed. It doesn't mean that the end game is no longer available for you. It's just due to your free will and the choices that you've made, the path getting there is going to be different, right? But at the same time, a lot of the times in the world that we live in a fast-paced world, right? Everything in America is go, 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 go. Even in wintertime, we're being told, oh, it's January 1st. You got to clean up your house. You got to start making New Year's resolutions. You got to start doing this and doing that. When in actuality, January is winter. And in winter, we're meant to sit still. We're meant to relax. We're meant to hibernate. But because we're in a world that pushes us to constantly be on go mode, we're always on go mode. And a lot of the times people don't understand. This is why your New Year's resolutions don't work out. This is why the goals that you set for yourself don't really work out all the time, because we're not meant to automatically apply pressure in the wintertime. We're meant to do that in springtime, because that's when everything is growing again. That's when everything is coming back alive. That's when the momentum is starting to pick back up. Aries season, right? It's all about action. Different conversation for another day. But either way it goes, this allows you to just sit with yourself and be more grateful for where you are, show more gratitude for where you are, clap more for the accomplishments that you've already made right here in this moment, versus thinking about all the things that you wished, all of those shoulda, coulda, wouldas, right? So I highly suggest reading Dark Matter, not just for the storyline, not just for shits and giggles, but also for the life lessons that Dark Matter teaches you, okay? Gratitude is honestly the happiest mood. Literally. If you can be more at peace with where you are now, it's easier to get where you're going. It's less friction that way. Okay? So, yes, get into it. Y'all, these are my 5 self-help recommendations and self-development and things of that nature. These are the books that I would recommend for y'all throughout 2025 if you're trying to gain some type of change in wherever you fall under the umbrella. I really feel like these would be beneficial for you. And again, like I said, understand that change takes time, okay? This isn't something that's going to happen overnight. This isn't something that's going to be like a one and done type thing, or I read it, I'm gonna apply it, whatever. You have to continue to pour into yourself. So if these are books that you have to continuously read here and there, do that. If you have to read it like at a pace and you know, you read a certain chapter and you apply it, and then you come back to it and read the next chapter and then you apply that. Do it that way, but give yourself grace, okay? Like James Clear said in Atomic Habits, a lot of the things that we're doing is based off of everyday habits, and it takes time to change a habit, right? If you're used to operating in a particular way, that's instilled in you, so it takes time to shift that in your brain chemistry so you can start doing something different. So give yourself grace, give yourself time, be patient with yourself, and make sure you're staying consistent when it comes to feeding your mind and your spirit, okay? This is not a one and done type of thing. You have to constantly do this. If you want to see the change, you have to be the change, okay? With all that being said, I hope that some of these interest you. If you decide to read it, definitely let me know. Drop it down in the comments so we can chat about it. If you have read some of these already, let me know that too. Let's chat about that too. If you enjoyed the vibe, please subscribe. If you made it this far, definitely go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Drop some things down in the comment. Let's chit chat. Let's kiki. But I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. And if you want more content like this, let me know that too. But I love y'all so much, and I will catch you in the next one, okay? Bye.